Hey folks, Mark Johnson, Tech Snob. I was going to do a quick head-to-head of last year's HTC One M7 versus this year's HTC One M8. First thing, we're just going to look right at the hardware. Both of these devices have a very, very nice build quality. They use full aluminum and, just feel great in the hand overall. Just looking right at the back of the devices, you do have they both have four megapixel ultra pixel cameras, or however you want to call it, but they're basically 4 megapixel cameras. HTC does call it ultra pixel, but long story short, they do work for what they're supposed to do. Zooming in and cropping with these cameras aren't the best, but on the HTC M8 you do have an extra sensor up here, and that helps with depth and doing a lot of post editing effects with focus and so forth. And it does work rather well. I mean, if you're using it for Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, you're going to really like those features. Looking at the phone, otherwise, I mean, they both have very nice displays. Both of the displays are 1080p, and they both are, very, very high density pixel displays. Now, it is a little bit higher with last year's model, just simply because it's a 4.7 inch. Versus this year's 5-inch display on the M8. So definitely, keep that in mind. But overall, the displays are fantastic. Holding them in hand, I do give it the slight edge because the M7 is smaller, but I really do like the sleek feel, and I do like the curves of the of the M8. With that being said, I never used a case with the M7, but the M8 does have a very nice dot view case, and using this case really makes all the difference in the world, I think, as far as phone cases go. Probably one of the best phone cases I've ever used, and I just like the nice little cool innovative features it brings. As far as when you have it closed, you can see who's, you see a voicemail, missed calls, you can see the weather and all that good stuff. And holding it in hand definitely feels definitely nice. The only bad thing, of course, is that there's no cutout in the back for the camera, but like I said earlier, the camera isn't the high point of the M8. Going back to the M7, everything works well. It's got a Snapdragon 600 CPU, 2 gig of RAM. It's going against the Snapdragon 801 CPU, 2 gigs of RAM. And pretty much everything is just beefed up and better on the inside of the M8, as you would expect. Will you notice it in day-to-day use? Pretty much depends on what you're doing with it. Some will, some won't. But I will say I do like the upgrades with the M8, and probably, outside of, the camera being, just a lower megapixel, that's probably one of the only letdowns, because this also has the micro SD slot that you can put in expandable memory, along with the 32 gigs it comes with. Whereas the last year's model, there is no way to expand the memory at all. It also has a bigger battery in the M8 as well, which is a great thing. I think it's 2600 milliamp hours. Let me double check on the box here. It's 2600 milliamp hour battery, and last year I believe on the M7, I think it was around 2300 or somewhere around there. So you definitely, and it has all these nice battery saving power modes on here. And overall, I just think it's a substantial upgrade. Is it worth the full price upgrade? It kind of depends on your situation. I don't know if you're using, T-Mobile's, upgrade yearly plan, or the Uncarrier plans they announced last year, or the mobile share that, AT&T, Verizon do the early upgrades. But I think it is. I would just caution you if you're really, really concerned about the camera, or you didn't like the camera on last year's model. They did add some new tricks to this year's, but it won't, I don't think the pictures are as good as some of the other devices out there. But, like I said, if you're using it for Instagram, Facebook, that kind of thing, you're going to love the pictures. They're going to turn out great. It still takes fantastic low light pictures as well. So definitely keep that in mind. So that's going to wrap it up. I definitely think it's worth upgrade personally for me. I do like the bigger display. I like the new case. Speed, I always take that. The Verizon model is unlocked You can use it on any carrier. Now, it doesn't support LTE on any carrier, but you can put the SIM in and use calls and get HSPA plus service. Last year's T-Mobile version, I was able to use this and get 4G LTE on AT&T's. I don't know if I'll get my hands on a T-Mobile variant again this year to test that, but if I do, I'll be sure to put a video up on that as well. So thanks for watching, folks. Be sure to check out the site, tech-snobs.com, for more coverage. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Take care.